Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Steve with Sensus Fidelium coming at you at 9:21 p.m. Friday, October 17th, 2025, Feast of St. Mary Margaret Alacoque. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a great, wonderful Friday evening. Let's get right to it because I'm sure you got other cooler people you want to watch later on. Demir, you're the first one in today. Good. Howdy back to you. Greetings and blessings. Yes, thank you. Anybody didn't see it here? There's Demir right there. Where are you coming in at? Anybody want to say where they're in from? That's cool too. Anyway, let's get right to the Whitey House putting out today, 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. We realized everyone over at the Blue Sky probably wasn't seeing our content, so we decided to fix that. Here are some of the greatest hits all in one place. Enjoy. Literally, kind of, it's one of those idiocracy type deal things again. We're just waiting for a President Mountain Dew, Pepsi Cola, Hacho Camacho Mountain Dew, Pepsi Cola to come out. They are doing the WWE. No, it was UFC fighting soon. But I mean, literally, how do you take anybody seriously with stuff like that? I know they're going to say, oh, it could have been cackles. Don't worry. It's just weird. Man, all the way out in Anaheim. Go Angels. I got a friend of mine that's playing for your minor league team. I think he's AA still. If you look him up, if you're a fan of the Angels, the Mershon family. You know who he is. He's been balling out there for quite some time. At Montreal, if you're a Blue Jays fan, you have Blue Jays, go Blue Jays. I know Montreal, the Expos, we were hoping to get the Expos when they came down, when they left Montreal. I remember the Expos back in the day. I got some autographs from back then. I met the team before. Long time ago. This just came in. Handprint found on roof of the Losay building at Utah Valley University in Charlie Kirk murder. So just now, a month later, a handprint was found because that's believable. The prints match where the video shows the individual jumping off the roof. Again, yes, Joe. And remember, this is the Superman theory, guys. Jack has never questioned his bud Andrew, who brought up the idea that a 30-06 can't go through Charlie Kirk's head because his skin was so strong and his bones were so strong. And even though a 30-06 would destroy bone 3 times his size and destroy the rest of his head, he is from Krypton. And the power of the yellow sun gave him this power to be able to pull that off. That's not going to be challenged ever by him. Here's Mel. She's been all over this too. New Taylor video just dropped. Add backpack to the list of items in the outfit change. So that's barely him right there. There he is there going in. And he got a new backpack. Even though that backpack still would not hold what they say it was supposed to hold. But hey, who cares about truth? And if you don't know the thing about the wardrobe change is he's seen coming in with one thing and then leaving with another. So again, goes into the whole narrative. It's just all wackadoo. Polly St. George, CIA contractor, hosting a CIA contractor to talk about how cool and totally not spying related their contracts are. This from the Sean Ryan show. People think Palantir is a spying tool, but that's just not true. Palantir is not about mass surveillance. It's about stitching together information in a way that helps keep people safe. The biggest misconception is that they're watching everyone, and that's just not reality. And if you believe that, along with some 22-year-old who shot somebody on top of a building, I got some beachfront property on Jupiter for you to sell. That's great. And just get it before it goes. Google and Apple to enforce age verification in Texas starting in 2026. Apple and Google brace for a privacy trade-off as Texas turns app downloads into identity checkpoints. Don't worry, everyone that says they're going to fix the union, that's from Texas, can't fix Texas. but they try to say that they can fix the entire continent. This is digital ID, stepping stone towards digital ID in Texas. I will belly laugh my brains out if Texas comes out with digital ID before everyone. They're the first state that comes out with digital ID, and I see all these Texas guys say we need to fix the union. Well, they call it the country, but they can't even fix Texas's backyard, which goes into Brian McClanahan had a video from 9 years ago, episode 11, called "We're All Jeffersonians Now." There's a lot of people trashing TJ, and as Jefferson mentioned, he didn't care if New Hampshire lived one way and Virginia lived another. He lived in Virginia. It didn't matter what New Hampshire did, because federalism means other states could do whatever they want. It's just like anything. If New York does something dumb, I don't live in New York. That's on New York. If California does something, that's California. I don't live there. Sorry for everyone who lives in California. That's on you people in California to fix California. If something dumb happens in where I'm at in North Carolina, that's on me and others here in North Carolina. I don't get up in the morning going, man, I can't believe New York is living this way. That's what they used to do back in the 1840s, 30s, 50s, things like that. They hated the Southerners for living not the way they did. Now we're all the same way. Yay! By the way, Jefferson also said that about 1 million people were the state of Alabama had 1 million people, have over 1 million people living in Alabama right now inside its borders. The entire 1790, the entire United States at that time had 1 million people total. And Jefferson thought that was too much. It was almost ungovernable by then. Now if we buy into we're a one country, one nation thing, that's 320 million. 900 to 1 representative ratio. That's called taxation without representation at a scale that no one's ever seen before. Yet we think it's okay. We throw our flags up in the air. Woo! No big deal. Let's do some more. Vote harder. Nothing happens. You wonder why nothing happens? Because it's out of scale. States need to break up because they are too big. He brings up when 5,000 people get around, they're okay to be able to create a constitution at the time, and that's 500 to 1 representative people ratio. When they get to was it 20,000, 30,000, they can apply. Maybe it was 50,000. They could apply for statehood. It was 30,000. They could apply for statehood. And that's why you think North Carolina broke. Where do you think Tennessee came from? Tennessee broke away from North Carolina to create 2 different states. Kentucky broke away from Virginia, 2 different states. It got too big. It's too big of a landmass to do that. Now it's too big of a people to do it. But again, we don't care. Indiana, go Hoosier. Hoosier daddy. Yeah, you guys just got to know the coach just cashed in because the Hoosiers football team is doing quite well up there. By the way, and a great name. Good evening, everybody. Norm. Yeah, I was a big Bobby Knight fan. If you never heard me say that before. U.S. evangelical leaders calls to shut down Owens and Carlson. Tucker. Pastor Larry Hutch senses an awakening following the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, which he believes will see renewed support for Israel because never leave a crisis go to waste, and we're going to use that guy's death for our advantage as best we can. And there's Pastor Larry Hutch at the Western Wall in Jerusalem today, giving his worshiping at the wall. It's just put your hands up against the wall, spread them, and kiss. U.S. masses 10,000 troops near Venezuela. A top admiral resigns. Talked about this yesterday. As he says, the top of it from Tyler Durden says, are we going to invade? Quote, we are certainly looking at land right now, says Trump. This is New York Times reports. Head of U.S. military Southern Command is stepping down. It is unclear why he's suddenly departing less than a year into his typically a 3-year job and in the midst of the biggest operation in his 37-year career. But one current and one former U.S. official, both of whom spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss personal matters, said that Admiral Halsey had raised concerns about the mission and the attacks on the alleged drug boats. Prior to Trump, I can't think of a combatant commander who left his or her post early ever, says Representative Adam Smith from Washington, a senior Democrat on the House Armed Service Committee. Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, a top Democrat in the Senate Armed Services Committee, was even more pointed in his criticism. At a moment when the U.S. forces are building up across the Caribbean in an unconstitutional, illegal war that we're about to command, and tensions with Venezuela are at a boiling point, the departure of our top military commander in the region sends an alarming signal of instability within the chain of command. I think he's got good, if he's doing it because of this, good on him. Someone needs to stand up and say, no, we ain't doing that, or I leave. Just, all right, fine, I'm out of here. That'd be good. Everyone goes with this, they're upset about this, like the No Kings thing coming up this weekend. What the heck? What do you think this is about? When the president, he has no authority to do this without congressional approval. Any of them, Bush, Cheney, Clinton, Obama, all those guys, they did it without it. They acted like a monarch, an elected monarch. When they say no kings? Hey, I get it. Where were you at last time? Where were you at during Obama? Where were you at during Bush? All those guys, they're all acting like it. Now they're finally saying it because their team is, Brandon did it too. Biden was doing it too. They all act like that. Even the anti-federalists called it. They would say you would have a guy with more power than a king. I think Franklin even said that. The king would wish they had these powers that these guys have right now. And that was the main reason the president has almost zero power. Because if he was in charge of the bombs or in charge of the military, he'd use it all the time. So they didn't give him the power to do it. What's up, Candlesticks? How you doing, man? First arrests hint at how billions of California homeless dollars vanish without a trace on Newsom's watch. With the arrests and federal indictments of 2 California men announced on Thursday, we're now getting an idea of how California's billions of dollars to end homelessness vanish without a trace. Instead of helping to solve the problem of rampant tent encampments filled with addicts on the beaches and streets of California, things got worse. Where did all that money go? Somebody's back pocket. Check the bank accounts. Here's the Children's Health Defense. Small Michigan County takes center stage in national debate over fluoride. In St. Clair County, Michigan, the local health director had ignited a raucous debate by urging restrictions on fluoride in drinking water, echoing U.S. Health Secretary RFKJ's national campaign against the additive. The controversy is drawing in outside advocates and highlighting how local decisions can have a ripple effect across the country. We've been looking at a lot of holistic dentistry. There's a ton on YouTube, by the way. A lady, I can't remember her name, Dr. Elise. She was on Redacted. I've been watching Redacted for a while too. They interviewed her, and good stuff. Then Ari was doing some of it anyways, doing more of it because of her and other people we've seen. Not just on top of you just added for you to grow your own food and things. Find a holistic dentist and support them. There's where I'm at. There's 2. There might be more in the other outside, but 2 inside the city of Charlotte I know of. Great stuff too, and will save you money in the long run. Most of them will tell you the fluoride story, which it was fascinating listening to her talk about this how the fluoride came in. I didn't know about all that. I knew about it in the water. I didn't know how it got there. Florida bill would require medical examiners to include recent vaccination history when investigating sudden deaths of infants and children. If passed, State Bill 188 would allow the state to systematically collect data necessary to determine whether vaccines may be linked to unexpected deaths in young people, according to the bill's author, Maija Han, chapter leader for Children's Health Defense Florida. Because at first you probably went, oh, man, well, that's going to be terrible. No, they're trying to connect the dots to see if SIDS is part of this, or if the jabs are helping with SIDS, because thing because they're all in. If you've seen the movie Inconvenient Study, wow, go watch it. I link up. I think this might be the next thing. Nope, it's one of the next things. Somewhere, here it is. Inconvenient Study is available to watch here on X. You can also just click the link and you can watch it on the website. What happened here is Big Tree and this other this guy, I can't remember his name right now. See if he's on here. See if anybody mentioned it. They pretty much they run up to each other and they agree to come out with a study. And it was a big time study. What the deal was, Henry Ford Ford Health System itself stated the study did not meet the rigorous scientific standards expected of the institution, and vaccines are safe and effective. That they said that because they're suing them, but the guy that did the study, literally, they have him on hidden cam going, "Yeah, we couldn't have done anything better. This was about as good as you're going to get as a study." So the study was, if they could, for years, pro-jab kids that they jabbed, kids that non-jab, and see how they came out. And so the pro-jab people were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to shut these guys down." Well, the stats did not come in their favor. So the agreement was they were going to do this and publish the results no matter what. And they both agreed to it. Guess who's not coming up on their end? This is like a monumental study. If you watch this, then you'll be blown away how bad the jab group got destroyed in this. And they're not going to release it. They're actually trying to sue them for putting it out there. Anyway, check it out. If you haven't watched Vax, go watch it. Blow your mind first. This will even get it even more. If anybody watches this and still does it, I don't know if they have two working brain cells in their head. Here's Carolyn Levitt without the cross on, looks like. The Democrat Party's main constituency is made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. This goes into the communist idea of always putting people against each other. If you don't want to call Levitt that, she's playing the game plan. That's Rules for Radicals 101. My neighbor, guy across the street, there's a husband and wife over there. They make jams for us. They had Cackles signs out during the election time. I don't think they're terrorists. Mark, it's not just luck. I find something and I just dig my teeth into it. I keep going. So I knew that the things weren't good at the beginning. And I didn't know why. Like always the polio, I would have been on the side with I know Mr. Dr. Edward Fesser, he's fine with the polio thing. And I've sent him links. Hey, you check out Dissolving Illusions and he'll tell you, here's the stat. They'll show the graph. Polio's down here. All of a sudden, here's the jab. And there was, the jab did it. No, it was already going away. So yeah, pretty much none. You should never get any, you shouldn't get any of these things. And it's one of those, just, if anybody gets mad, we just, the doctor, that's where you have to find a good doctor that will do it. Because our pediatrician actually sent us the link. So that's when you know you got a good pediatrician, that he sends you the link of from Big Tree. Like, we got to keep, you're never leaving. Catholic guy too. We have a Catholic pediatrician that left big hospital, where we call Big Medicine, started his own practice because he was upset about how the Rona jab was going. So he left his group and started his own. And it's pretty much like an on-call doc. He'll go make house calls, all that stuff. Need more of them. But more and more people are getting that way. Anyway, back to Levitt. No, that's just, again, it's their tactics. Lie. Oh, here it is right here. Lie, focus, repeat, blame, provoke, crisis, emotion, pander, and no limit. They both do it. Both teams do it. Obviously, she's talking about Miami. And again, it's New York City. New York City. Yes, New York City. Guess what city I don't live in? New York City. Yep, I don't live in New York City. New York City can do whatever it wants to do. Do not care. And guess what? It's not up to Carolyn. It ain't up to Trump. Trump has zero say on who's the mayor of New York City. He has no power unless he is an elected ruler, as a emperor or fueled by billionaires. No kings prepare color revolution style mobilization against Trump. Antifa's color revolutionists too. Proud Boys, all these guys are stuff like that. Paid agitators just to get things going. What they do, usually they get going and people, what happens? It backfires. Well, backfires. It's part of the plan. Something goes up and then you have the response come in afterward. All predictable. Yeah. They do, and they do it by fear. You got to get it. You got to get the flu shot. I don't think I've ever in my life, thankfully, never gotten that thing. Even when I was a kid, I don't think parents ever had us do that one. We did get all the shots as kids. I remember that. I hated them. I remember crying during them as I was a toddler. But yeah, I mean, they didn't know anything. They were told to do what they were told to do. No one would question anything. Now you got the internet, and people question it all the time. That's why they try to control the internet. Behind Trump's rapidly growing 1 billion crypto empire. Also, and by the way, these things go on tomorrow. If other people are sponsoring them, hey, that's on them. There's no rule saying that Soros can't do it. If he's doing it, guess what? Other people, the quote unquote fake right, does it for the other groups. We traced $294 million to the official No Kings 2.0 partners and organizations, all funneled through the same Riot Inc. dark money networks. All right, I have no idea. I mean, you can make all that stuff up too. I mean, need a little bit more than a Twitter post to find out all that. But would they be doing it? I wouldn't be shocked. They all do it. Both fake left and fake right. I already did that one. RFKJ just told Trump he'll get to heaven for promoting the IVF. John Henry Weston comes out, no, Mr. Kennedy, as a Catholic, IVF violates God's law, and as a man of science, it kills millions and millions of embryonic children. We pray for your conversion and for the presidents. But again, it's for them. It's for Kennedy, he is sold out. He used to speak out against this stuff all the time. Now, he's fine with Pfizer. That's what happens when you get inside the belly of the beast. You kind of turn, your principles aren't the same anymore. And Children's Health Defense, for the credit, have called him out on that stuff a lot. Here's the Inconvenient Studies available. Watch here. It's still playing. That's why. Let me see if I can find a couple of the. This was a bad. Where was that story at? This was about the triplets that all went down after a shot. Where was it? This one. Where is it at? Maybe did I already pass it? Man, that was a fun one. That was at the Vaxxed. Oh, I guess. Well, there was a kid that ended up getting, that's him. He was like a big time young athlete and took a jab and see what happened to him. He ended up taking his life later on because he felt like he was too much of a burden on his family. But where was it at? There's the due to insignificant parts. There's Florida. There's him recording it. Here's some of it. A lot of this that they had would show that there is there's the 0, 4 times higher. They're just 3 times higher. They read off the thing, and on the other side where it's the red guys, zeros. House Oversight Committee investigating Trump's controversial $200 million White House ballroom. Oh man, it was hard to watch. It was hard to listen to those stories. I mean, The first one got me. Them going through those kids and seeing them get like that, heart wrenching. The most conservative thing I can say is heart wrenching. And for people to keep pushing that stuff. Here's how dozens of Trump's donors have benefited from his second term. Who is it here? I think we brought us crypto. Yeah, we made a ton on crypto apparently recently. Oh yeah, Nicole, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's a big one. Mandimi maintains significant lead in New York City. New York City mayor race. Voters see Mandimi, Cuomo as strong leaders, but more say Mandimi will bring needed change. I mean, again, when they say, hey, he's a communist, guess what? So is Cuomo. Guess what? So is Gretchen Whitmer. Guess what? So is Trump. I mean, you want to be honest. He's a centralist. At the least, fascism. I mean, what's the definition of when private industries merge with government? It's the F word. There's been a lot of people talking about socialism because he's buying corporations up. They're all like that. Clinton, Bush, Obama, they're all the same. So don't think he's some conservative, capitalist guru that's coming in. No, he's using the power of the government to do all kinds of things that he doesn't have the power to do, but people are letting him do it. So, and now everybody gets upset that this Mandimi guy, oh, why are you such a commie? We've been a communist land for 100 years. Take that back. Communists have been in the government since the 1860s. I got another one of those AI podcasts coming out soon that's going to blow your minds out on a PDF book by Shotwell called Lincoln's Communists, Lincoln Marx and the Red Republicans. They call them red because they were commie red. I got another one. I'll put some more on here. It's this was the original book of that, Red Republicans and Lincoln Marxists. And this goes into the first feminist was actually a Catholic lady who left Catholicism for Marxism. I'm going to record a couple pieces of that and put it in the podcast along with it. So stay tuned. I'll get yelled at by the anti-AI people soon for it. Literally never had a job. Highlights from fiery New York City mayor debate as Cuomo Sliwa bash socialist candidates record. Again, they're all socialists. Zelensky says Russia, Mother Russia, rushing the talk as soon as it hears about Tomahawk missiles. And Zelensky was in D.C. today begging for more missiles. He wanted a trade, drones for missiles, by the way. Dear Mr. President, Americans don't care who owns Donetsk, so why risk that World War III by sending Tomahawks? The reality is most Americans can't find Donetsk, Kherson, Luhansk, and Zaporizhzhia on a map. Does the American public really want to constantly poke the Russian bear over places they can barely pronounce? Do they really care who owns Donbass? No. You ask anybody off the street. No. So why on earth are you continuing giving Zelensky, who you once dubbed the greatest salesman on earth, America's own vital long-range Tomahawk missiles? Hey, there's yeah. We're going to give it to him. I said to Putin, would you mind if I gave a couple of thousand Tomahawks to your operation? He didn't like the idea. You think? A classified network of SpaceX satellites is emitting a mysterious signal. A constellation of classified defense satellites built by the commercial company SpaceX is emitting a mysterious signal that may violate international standards, NPR has learned. U.S. has seized survivors after strike on suspected drug-carrying vessel in the Caribbean, AP sources say. The U.S. took survivors into custody after the military struck a suspected drug-carrying vessel in the Caribbean. A defense official, we already said that part, is the first known attack that anyone has escaped alive since once future President DJT began launching deadly strikes in the waters off Venezuela last month and raises questions of how the U.S. will treat the survivors. Yeah, they're surprised they let them know that they survived. Kill that guy. We can't let anybody survive. Speaking of which, let's see war pigs right now. SOUTHCOM chief quits amid Venezuela push. Where I said that. U.S. bombs another boat in the Caribbean, and there are survivors. Trinidad citizens believed killed in U.S. airstrike identified. Trump threatens to go in and kill Hamas. Let's see. We already said this yesterday. Yesterday. Trump and Putin to hold a summit in Budapest. That's different. Here's a POTUS. We attacked the submarine. All this submarine. That was a drug-carrying submarine built specifically for the transportation of massive amounts of drugs. How do you know? We don't have a clue. We don't have any evidence, but we can just say it. Trust me, bro. Just so you understood. This was not an innocent group of people because I said so. This was a great one. 92% of all drugs trafficked to the United States over here. I'm protecting the American people from drugs. Ryan Christian goes, Trump claims we, Israel, have killed 70,000 members of Hamas. Only issue is that's about double the pre-genocide estimates of their numbers. Not only is Trump openly stating that he knew that they were what they were doing during this genocide, but he exposed how they see them all as Hamas. The way it goes, we, there's a joke I can't say on there about we, but yeah. When everyone keeps saying Hamas, look at 2 million Hamas, that their numbers were nowhere near that high in the beginning, but yet everyone is Hamas to these people. Here's American military personnel have begun arriving in Israel through Ben Gurion Airport. Boots on the ground. Here's Jack Paso again. He made twice today. This I saw this earlier, but I didn't. This was before I saw about the handprint. The geofencing data will prove it. Now, see, geofencing is good now, guys. They can trace Taylor Robinson's exact path from the tunnel to the roof, the shot, and the getaway. The cell phone trail may be the strongest evidence yet in Kirk's murder. Actually, it's probably the only evidence that they have on the kid because there's nothing else that adds up. And I think somebody brought up, hey, Jack also won't talk about how Israel geofenced non-denomination Christian churches in the United States at Kirk's funeral. How much you want to bet Jack doesn't have a problem with it because they aren't Catholic churches. I wrote back, it's not because it's Catholic, it's because he's a hack for the Zionists. They don't care about that part. Obama's $1 billion presidential library looks like a Tower of Doom. It does. It looks like something that you like a parking lot. Really, I don't know who designed this thing. This is ugly as sin, but yeah, it kind of reminds me of kind of like a parking lot or a prison, one of the two. Something from Star Wars, maybe. Mark Benioff apologizes for National Guard comments. Salesforce CEO and WEF number 3 now says he doesn't think Trump should send a National Guard to San Francisco. Coming in at Detroit, Michigan, Cafe Con Santos. Welcome to the program. Appreciate the love there. Go Tigers. Well, it's Lion season now. Sorry, forgot. Trump says Supreme Court to allow National Guard deployment in Illinois. Trump asked Supreme Court to allow it. See, he knows he doesn't have the power for it. I wonder what's going to happen when they say no. The Trump administration says lower courts are interfering with Trump's attempt to protect federal officers tasked with enforcing immigration laws. Translation, the Trump administration is upset that the lower courts aren't just giving him the power. Alleged October 7th terrorist in quotes, charged with entering the United States illegally after receiving fraudulent visa from Brandon administration. Mahmoud Amin Yaqub al-Mutada. Again, these guys would fail kindergarten drastically just because of the name part. Entered these United States in September 2024, less than a year after participating in the Hamas attack. We just found this out today. all the tracking devices, all the things that they're listening in on. Yeah, they just found that out a year later, over a year and a half later. Poland's president implements a 0% income tax law for parents with more than two children. And he says, should we do this in the United States? And a lot of people going, yeah, we obviously, federalism will do that. There's a few states like Florida, Tennessee. I can't remember the other ones. I think Arizona, maybe. I might be wrong on that. I know Tennessee. I know Florida. There's a few others that have no state income tax. And then you end the Fed, there's no federal income tax. By the way, quick trivia for you. Who's the first president to bring in a progressive income tax? That would be Abraham Lincoln. It was a bill that he brought in, just lasted a year, but he was the first one. That's why Carl loved him so much. And then you got in the 1900s, you get the constitutional amendment of the federal income tax. So again, you could get rid of that, put an amendment to get rid of that, like they got rid of prohibition, and then in the Fed. Done. Because obviously, why just two plus kids? What if it's a good family and they just can't have children? Now you're discriminating against good people that can't have kids? The man threatening Viktor Orban's 15-year grip on Hungary, former ally of authoritarian prime minister, is leading the polls as an election with huge geopolitical implication looms. Peter Magyar is posing the toughest electoral test of Prime Minister Viktor Orban's 15 years in power. Let's see. We can build a country where no one will suffer a disadvantage because of their political opinion. He's dressed in a hoodie and Adidas sneakers. No one will be called a bug or a pest to be crushed just because they see the world differently. So I don't know much about what this guy would go for. Again, I don't live in Hungary, so I'm not going to lose much sleep. But it just depends on how he falls on everything else for the people there. It's up to the people of Hungary. Virginia Giuffre Epstein boasted of blackmail and his friends. They could have killed him. Claims made in posthumous memoir will reignite questions on whether the late pedophile maintained a client list. That is on Bondi's desk underneath the red stapler. If anybody got that. Buckingham Palace makes major King Charles announcement about historic moment in days. King Charles and Queen Camilla are set to meet the new Pope Leo during a trip to the Vatican next week, and Buckingham Palace has announced fresh details about the historic visit. Apparently, he's going to pray with them. It'll be the first time that Charles, head of the Church of England, has met the new American-born head of the Roman Catholic Church since his election in May. And in a significant move, the pair will pray together during a special service in this famous Sistine Chapel, marking the first time that a monarch and pope have done so publicly since the Reformation. Colorado doctors allegedly coerced women into assisted suicide for terminal anorexia. This is from the column. Here's was in Colorado Springs. Cops AI image used in false sex attack claims. So what happened is a Florida woman contacted police earlier in the month to report a male assailant had barged into her home, knocked her to the ground, and then committed the assault. While the attacker was a stranger, the woman says she was able to take a photo of the suspect while he was seated on the couch in her St. Petersburg home. When was he sitting on the couch? God only knows. I mean, because I don't know how many people actually barge into homes, commit the crime, and then would he have a cigarette or a beer on the couch or something? Watch the Sports Center? How'd that happen? Multiple officers and forensic technicians responded to the scene, where Brooke, a 32-year-old mother of two, said the October 7th attack occurred. But a subsequent police examination of the image provided by her revealed that the photo was AI generated via ChatGPT, according to the arrest report. Additionally, the photo was found in a deleted folder dated days before the alleged battery took place. She was arrested for falsely reporting a crime. She spent a night in jail before posting $1,000 bond. Update. Apparently Trump said this, a wealthy donor whose name you know offered to cover the military's $1 billion a month payroll if the Democrats refuse to open the government. By the way, today's day 17, glorious day 17 of the shutdown. God, it's so good. Has it affected you? Haven't thought about it one time since the shutdown. He's an American hero and patriot. So just it kind of shows you that all that little buff that they had was just a sideshow. Police warn against pranking people with AI images of homeless intruder. Law enforcement departments in several states said that an online trend in which people are tricked into believing a homeless man is in their homes could have serious consequences and repercussions, which everyone else is probably thinking, duh. No doubt, Gwen Stefani was like 600 years old, but she puts on makeup and dresses like she's 20s. Six show gig will make Gwen Stefani the first woman to headline the iconic arena. Sex is a big market for the AI industry. ChatGPT won't be the first to try to profit from it. We talked about this a couple days ago, I think it was. They're continuing to talk about the story. Saudi Arabia eyes becoming NFL's next overseas destination. The NFL's international ambitions have led it to Europe and South America, and the Middle East could be next. Prince Turki Alashka, who oversees Saudi Arabia's sports and entertainment interests because he has pretty much $100 bills for toilet paper, said he wants to bring the NFL to the country. He pointed out how the league has recently been hosting regular games in more countries. Britain's got it. Brazil's got it. Hopefully Saudi Arabia will be next. Talk about a flight. It's already bad enough, I guess, to go to England. Good night. Try flying across the world just to play a game? Yeah. Internet clampdown strains Iranians' links to one another and the world. Since its brief June war in Israel, Iran has throttled internet traffic and jammed GPS, making day-to-day tasks online challenging and prompting fears of greater surveillance. Again, that stuff's everywhere. New strain of monkeypox virus that is more severe and easily spread found in major U.S. city. And that's about the 48th time they've said this. Exactly. New monkeypox. Worse strain, easier to find, all that stuff. It gets worse every time. I haven't heard anybody ever have the monkeypox, even monkeys. This is astounding. Overnight, millions and millions more Americans could be labeled obese. How did I get that? Okay. 7 in 10 U.S. adults could fall under new obesity definition. Adding waist size to BMI, which is a terrible idea to use BMI to say, according to BMI, I am severely obese because it goes with your height and weight. I think I'm supposed to be like 106. I think I'm supposed to be like 170 pounds or something like that. So they do. It's just weight. They don't count muscle mass, anything like that. Weight, height, and weight raises U.S. obesity rates from 42.9% to 68.6%, according to a major JAMA Network Open study. 1 in 4 adults have hidden belly fat obesity despite a normal BMI. Older adults and Asian participants saw the biggest increase in obesity classification. The new definition could change who qualifies for treatment and reshape healthcare policy. So they might actually jack the prices up. Maybe you don't get a thing because you're now a fat slob when you're not. Scientists have found adopting this new obesity framework endorsed by 76 professional medical organizations who also thought the sniffles would kill you, increased obesity rates from 42% to 68.6% among study participants. JAMA, blah, blah, blah. Rather than relying solely on the height to weight calculation that has dominated in medicine for decades, terribly, a new approach incorporates waist circumference, waist to hip ratio, and waist to height ratio alongside BMI to create a more complete health assessment. I kind of get that at least, but still, waist to hip ratio. Now, yeah, if it's going to be like that, that's different. They're not counting. See, Yeah, waist to hip. I like to see how they did that, though. Health risk, BMI misses, service prime. Compared to people with obesity, those in the waist center type were 76% more likely to have organ problems, high blood pressure, all that stuff. Yeah. It also depends on your body, too. Uh, I never liked BMI. Here's Jeffrey Jackson interviewed Matthew Lysiak about his book, Fiat Food. They are bulking up food with the additives to save money and harming your health in the process. Jeffrey, when the value of currency is debased, the food ingredients also become cheapened and they have bulking products. These add additives just to give it substance. For companies, food companies are quietly stuffing your meals with invisible additives not on the label to make you pay more. When shopping, check the ingredients list. Always do that. For the additives that bulk up products without adding nutrition, look for a carrageen, look for a xanthan gum, look for modified starches, look for soy protein isolate, sodium phosphate, cellulose. It's just helping the companies to make a packages not smaller, but some of them actually have negative efficacy when it comes to your nutrition and health. Again, grow your own food. Or if you want, try what's the name of this? I forget the name of the group. Un momento, por favor. What is the name of that group? Thrive Market. Thrive Market. Thrive Market. If you don't know what to do, here's thrivemarket.com. Give it a shot. Check it out. They actually will ship your food to you. And they're cheaper. If you go to the grocery store and buy this stuff's cheaper on here than it would be at most grocery stores. Now, if you go to like Costco and you get more, they won't beat that price because obviously Costco is going to have bigger products and sometimes just as good or better products. But if you can't get to something like that, check out Thrive. I'm not getting a penny. They have no clue I exist. But check it out. Get your thing. Have them ship some food to you. Maybe that, especially if you haven't grown your own food by the time the winter comes, which is now. 10 hot trends shaping America's convenience stores, from energy drinks to Goldman. Was it? It remains all about energy drinks this year again. Red Bull, which is terrible, and several others stepping up their game. Or steeping. Let's see. Female consumers. Energy drink category remains very robust, with many players suggesting retailers will continue to add incremental space to a category next year. Yeah, here's the PSYOP, where big accounts are posting about chemtrails stopping since the government shut down, yet reality says otherwise. 30-minute time lapse today. And I can attest to that. I looked up today, and there was quite a few of them in the sky where I'm at. So Jesse is in, I don't know, somewhere in the United States. Thank you, Jesse. No idea. This is Jacksonville skies. Florida's trying to ban it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was Iowa, but I do know North Carolina here, where I was at, definitely had them up in the sky. All right, get to this day in history. 1979, Mother Teresa awarded the Nobel Prize. 2018, recreational marijuana became legal in Canada. 2005, the Colbert Report debuted. Why is that even a thing on today? I have no idea. 1972, Eminem was born. Slim Shady. In 1968, American action film Bullet was released. It features Steve McQueen, and consider a car chase sequence. 1939, American classic Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, starring James Stewart, had its world premiere. 1918, Rita Hayworth was born. 1854, British and French troops began the siege of Sevastopol during the Crimean War. 1777, British General John Boigner surrendered his troops following his shocking defeat in the Second Battle of Saratoga. 1707, German Baroque composer Johann Sebastian Bach married his cousin Maria Barbara Bach at Dornheim. 1448, the last major effort by Crusaders to free the Balkans from Ottoman rule began with the Second Battle of Kosovo in Serbia. 1346, at the Battle of Neville's Cross, the English defeated the Scots, who, as allies of the French, had invaded England in an attempt to distract Edward III from the crisis of Calais, France. I probably pronounced Calais wrong. Anyways, thanks for checking in on us today. In the week with some kind of good news. I guess I could have gotten a joke in or two, the joke of the week. But anyways, check out the show notes. It's underneath right now. Everything's in chronological order. What else? Check out that documentary, The Inconvenient Study. Very good. And learn about growing your own food and getting better water. I mean, what you can add stuff. Dr. Tom, what's his name? Was that Holman? What is his name? Dr. Tom. Forgive me, I'm trying to look up something for y'all. Tom Cowan, Cowan. That's it. He has a lot of stuff. He's major on water. Look up his podcast on YouTube. He tells you how to energize water. It's got a bunch of great products. The problem is it's very expensive. I can't afford anything on that thing. But you can put like salt. There's some kind of salt that's bamboo salt that's like burnt bamboo like 9 times or anything. That stuff will help put in nutrients into your water, stir it up type deal. Little things like that. And I'm waiting for that salt to actually come in on Sunday or Saturday. I think it's coming Saturday. What else? Learn how to grow your own food. Check out that one site, Thrive Market. Anyways, I'll see you next weekend. See you next week. See you in a couple days. Take the weekend off. Have a great rest of the night. Check out the Sensus Fidelium.tv for your for the app. Also, don't forget iCatholic Mobile. Change your cell phone carrier to a Catholic cell phone carrier. You'll be glad that you did. God love you. Have a great rest of the night.